Hey, it's Becky, and welcome to another Teardown. Today we're taking a look inside the two most popular continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, the Abbott Freestyle Libre 3 and the Dexcom G7. Keep watching to see me try them out, take them apart, and analyze the design and manufacturing of the circuitry inside. This video is sponsored by DigiKey, which carries tools for your own teardowns as well as some of the components in the CGM circuitry. Head to the link in the description for more info on all the parts we could identify. Let me know what I should tear down next in the comments. Originally developed for diabetes blood sugar monitoring, CGMs are gaining wider appeal among non-diabetics looking to track their metabolic health. It feels pretty cyborg to wear a biosensor that streams data to my phone over Bluetooth. The recommended location for the sensor is the back of the upper arm, and to apply it, you first clean the skin with an alcohol prep pad. Then open up and apply the applicator to that spot and deploy the sensor. The Dexcom applicator has a button on the side that releases a spring-loaded mechanism. The Freestyle Libre also has a spring-loaded mechanism, but it's deployed by pushing down on the whole applicator. It inserts a tiny filament into your skin and sticks the circuit on top. The Dexcom sensor lasts 10 days and the Freestyle Libre lasts 14. I sent 2 of each sensor, unused of course, to my friends at Lumafield to be CT scanned. One is deployed and the other isn't, so we can compare and learn more about how the applicator mechanism works. After their scans, I took both devices apart to check out the inside. The Dexcom unit seemed to have an overmolded shell. The plastic was pretty difficult to remove and covered the entire circuit board. The Freestyle Libre CGM came apart a little more easily and appears to be a 2-part enclosure that is joined together after sandwiching the circuit board inside. Now it's time to take a look at the electronics inside with my channel's favorite electrical engineer, David Craner. Oh, hey David.
Hey Becky, how's it going?
Good, come on in.
Good to see you. What are we looking at?
Continuous glucose monitors.
The CGM, continuous glucose monitor. Cool. From Abbott.
We have 2. We have the Abbott
2.
one and we have the Dexcom one.
Dexcom. I've not heard of Dexcom.
Here's the unused, undeployed Dexcom. So that's what it looks like when you take it out of the box.
Uh-huh.
Hasn't been used.
Can I open it?
You can. It'll make it open.
That makes it deployed?
No, it makes it like not sterile anymore.
Okay. This is a very fancy jar. Oh wow. Okay.
It's not a jar. It's like the applicator.
I see.
Yeah, and then there's the device in there.
It's got a pokey thing.
Mm-hmm. The pokey part goes inside your arm.
Should I put it inside my arm?
I think we should do the Abbott one. I like it better than the Dexcom. So we can do one together. Just like friends do.
Like friends do. Just hanging out with your friend, like sticking stuff.
You can open the box.
Where does it go on my arm?
It goes, there's like one FDA approved location, and that's the back of your arm. Maybe you would like to try both. I've tried both for the sensation of the.
For the sensation.
Well, no, really, like the way that the applicator works is slightly different in either case, and some people have a preference, so you can choose which one you like better. I tried the Dexcom first. The sensor only lasts 10 days instead of 14 days. And the Abbott device is like a tiny bit smaller. So like changing it less often and having the device be slightly smaller was like enough to make me want to switch if all else was the same. See how much smaller it is? And the reason that they're small, that this one's much smaller is because it doesn't have as big of a spring in it. So here's the Abbott undeployed applicator.
Oh, this is gonna like...
It's going to stab you.
It's going to stab.
It's going to stab you, yeah. And then this is the Dexcom applicator. It has like a way bigger spring in it. I think you should try both, and we'll see what you think. You can put them on either arm. I've tried both previously, but okay. So tear open your alcohol wipe. Otherwise, the adhesive just doesn't stick, and it'll fall right off. And then wipe off you want to stick it in the fleshy part because it goes into the interstitial fluid in your skin. So you want it to be in a place that has some extra squish.
Okay. So like just kind of here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then you can unscrew. This is the sterile package. That's the over sticker.
Okay. Unscrew.
It's a sterile package. You can see there's the needle sticking in there.
I see. Here it is.
And then you put it on the back of your arm, and you say 1, 2, 3, go. And then you push it in really hard. And it is spring-loaded, but you have to push it also.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and then hold it there for a second because the pressure is going to stick the glue on the sticker, and then slowly take it off, confirming that the sticker has stuck. Yep. There you go.
Cool. Oh, it's little.
Yeah.
So you're not diabetic, right?
No.
So what do you find useful about this? What do you use it for?
Helping to understand your body's blood sugar response to different foods. So for learning like which carbs are better for you personally, you know, like they say like, oh, like bread and rice and they're all the same and and pasta, but your own body chemistry can be different. So you can learn like all things the same, which carbs spike your blood sugar less. I mean, for me, it's like a weight loss thing, but also a wearables thing because I'm really super into wearables. But so I was wearing it consistently for a while, and I took it off for the wedding because I didn't want to have the sticker or the glue on for the wedding, and that was right around Halloween, and I found that like after having worn it for a while, I wasn't trying to get away. I knew what foods would spike my blood sugar after wearing it for a while.
Right.
And when I wasn't wearing it, I like ate a lot of candy because I was like, nobody's watching.
No one's gonna know. Yeah, no one's gonna know.
It was also Halloween time, so.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
But so I am using it to like establish some new information about like the foods that I like to eat and find which foods. They also I'm just learning about my body's response to the foods. Like for instance, if you eat like a bowl of ice cream on an empty stomach, it'll spike your blood sugar more than if you eat the bowl of ice cream after you've had like a well-balanced meal.
Right.
And that's really interesting to me because that's like the same food and the same amount of calories in that bowl of ice cream, and in fact more calories because of the whole well-balanced meal you're eating also.
Right.
But it changes your body's response. Your body's like more resilient to that sugar when it has some other things in it already. So like
So you can like learn stuff about that.
You can hack weight loss a little bit, and like for me, I have willpower issues around food, and I'm like a stress eater and an emotional eater, and the fact that I can still have the ice cream, but like tell myself that I can have the ice cream, but after I eat this other thing, and not denying myself the ice cream. So it's helped me figure out some things like that, and I've lost a little bit of weight, like 10 pounds. But I think anytime you start measuring and paying attention to what you're eating, like it
introduce feedback into a system, and you can
it changes it. So you had the experience of the Abbott one. People say online. So this, you could look at the scan. This one only has one spring in it, and here's what it looks like undeployed. So here's the applicator when it's not deployed. The one that you just tried, you can see the little device in there, and you can see the spring. And then here's what it looks like when it's been deployed.
Yep.
So the spring is long, the device is in your arm now, but there's only one spring. When we go over to the Dexcom device, you'll see that there's like an inner spring and an outer spring. And I think it's all for this user experience. So from what I've learned, people online reacting to this one versus this one has a button on the side. So you push it up against your skin, you press the button, and it deploys the spring. This one, the spring is deployed by you like giving it a push.
Yeah.
And so psychologically, I think people think this one's harder.
Right.
Because you have to give it a push, versus this one where you're pushing like perpendicular to the
less
direction
like
that it
you're
stabs.
Like stabbing yourself.
Yeah, because you push perpendicular. So
Yeah.
I think you should put this one on the other arm.
Okay.
Yep, I've already tried out both.
Okay. Fresh alcohol prep test.
Yeah.
Our friends at McKesson.
When you go to the gym wearing 2 CGMs, people are going to be like, "Whoa, bro."
That guy's really quantifying himself. Yeah, that guy.
But that's what people think when they see a non-diabetic person now at the gym wearing a CGM. It's like, oh, you're really trying to hack your levels. Yeah, quantify yourself.
Okay, and it's 2 different apps for each one.
Yeah, these are 2 different companies. These are competitive. These are competitors of each other.
Can I talk to my Apple Watch? Wait, hang on. So I put this there, and then I press this button, and then it'll
deploy it.
Jam into my.
It'll jam into your arm. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. Can you do it?
I can. Just stabbing friends. That's what we're for. Did it go?
It didn't go.
Is this the wrong one? Ooh. Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
How was the pain on that one?
Definitely less than the first one wasn't so bad. The first one felt like, I've tried the glucose monitors where you put the spring-loaded finger stick. It felt like that.
Yeah.
That one didn't feel like anything at all.
Yeah.
I agree that, yeah.
That this one is a better user experience.
Unless you like getting stabbed.
I don't, but I do hate waste. So the fact that the Dexcom sensor only lasts 10 days instead of 14 days, it makes me think it makes more waste. And then because of the extra springs, because there's 2 extra springs in here, and this whole unit, like, yeah, you could throw it in the recycling, but realistically it's going to end up in the landfill. So you use more of them per year, and each one has more material in it, which makes me not like the waste. But and now that I've gotten used to stabbing myself with the Abbott one, it's like no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. Ooh, I can feel that. Hurts a little bit if you move it around.
Where you put it matters. Like, you find sometimes that the place you put it is not ideal, and sometimes you have to just ditch the sensor and swap it out for a new one.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how far I get.
We can tap them?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
It probably hurts if you jam the
Well,
needle.
It depends.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain spots that are less sensitive than others. So I've worn it for a couple of months, and only once did I get it in a place where I was like, ooh, that one's actually uncomfortable, and I took it out and did it over again. So once you learn more about the spots on your body, that's all.
This is a lot of plastic.
It's a lot of stuff, right? Okay, so now that you have had the experience, this is what diabetics have been wearing for years and years, and they're only getting better and better, and only recently have there been companies that have started to market them to non-diabetics, both because they've become slightly more affordable, but also every corner of the app store is always being explored, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't remember if it was Dexcom or Abbott who's just now coming out with a prescription-free version, over-the-counter version you can just buy from them. Right now, the ones I got, I needed a prescription, but and that's through the way that they go through their FDA approvals, but they've just gotten a device that's approved for over-the-counter use. So this is only going to become more and more popular. And
how much does it cost?
In the United States, the sensors are, of course, like stupid expensive, like $200 or something each. Oh, wow. But in Europe, they're like $35. So when you're thinking about measuring your glucose intermittently or you could do it intermittently. You don't have to wear it all day, every day. You could wear the sensor for 14 days out of the month. You could wear like one sensor a month and only be tracking your levels for 2 weeks in order to establish some patterns. Because you don't need the life alert aspect of the app where it beeps at you to get medical attention if your blood sugar drops too low. You don't need to be wearing it all the time like a diabetic does. So you can choose how much to spend on it based on
So
maybe you want once every 3 months you wear a sensor.
Yeah.
Just to check in your responses to the foods that you like to eat.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
That's very interesting,
a viable route, but it is still pretty expensive in the US especially.
Right.
But because the over-the-counter device is just released, as soon as that device gets released elsewhere in the world and it's over-the-counter, shouldn't we be able to mail order it just like we can mail order the cat's asthma inhaler from New Zealand or whatever? There's got to be something. I think the price is only going to come down.
Yeah.
And we know that the price of the actual device is not $200.
The price of the actual hardware definitely does not look like $200.
Okay, so do you have any more questions about the scans or want to look at the scans of the applicators before we look at the...
really cool. Let's see that needle.
The needle's been folded over on...
but we can see. I'm interested in...
the attachment point here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I wonder how this... You see that antenna too. That's fun. Yeah, it's just soldered on there.
It's just soldered on.
Solder, or is it epoxy or something? I don't know. Do you know how this type of sensor works?
I know that it I only know biologically how it works. I know that it doesn't go into your bloodstream. It's measuring the blood sugar in your interstitial fluid inside your skin. And that I know from watching videos about this technology that's delayed response from your blood glucose. So if you eat the hamburger now, the CGM might not show a spike until
like an hour later.
Like an hour,
it has to like filter into your stomach and then into your blood and then into your other stuff.
And then into your interstitial fluid. So it's like it's like 15 to 20, or I can't remember exactly how many minutes it is behind, but like between 15 and 30 minutes behind.
It's like when you water a plant and it takes a while for the water to like totally soak into all the dirt.
It's pretty much exactly that same biological mechanism.
So you are the plant.
So, but I don't know electronically how it works. I just know like where it is in what it's doing in your body. I don't know what it's made out of. It's like a flexible thing, right? And you wear it like all day, every day. You sleep in it.
Yeah. What's this thing?
I don't know. Put it under the. You want to look at the microscope?
Wait. Show us one more time where the needle bends over and attaches. Like, is this actually like a weird little like connector for the needle?
We're looking at the.
But the needle's not in here anymore.
In this one, it actually. Yeah, you're right. Look, it's this like separate piece.
No, look, you can see. So the needle, that's the needle there. But this one, it looks like the needle is attached to this, if I flip it over, it's attached to this little like right angle metal.
And
there.
that squishes
and then that
in.
Clips into
that little holder.
This connector. That's a cool connector. I haven't seen that kind of connector before. So that's how the needle gets attached.
Yeah.
And then who knows what that stuff is.
What do you think this metal bit is here?
I don't know. That's a very interesting.
It's got to do something. It's got to be there for a reason, right?
Piece of metal, yeah.
I mean, I think it helps hold the shape of the whole thing, maybe. But is it? Is it maybe also an antenna? Do you see another antenna on this thing?
Doesn't look like any antenna I've ever seen because it's attached at like 4 points. But then what's that little thing that's just hanging out in the middle? What's that about?
I don't know.
I have no idea what that is. But it is interesting on this circuit board. You can see. I mean that might also be antenna because it's like. What's interesting on this circuit board, they're using like curvy traces. They're not using real rectilinear looking ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, haven't you taught me that normally when they're doing curvy traces, they're trying to avoid spraying off some electromagnetic.
If it's like a super duper high frequency thing.
And this is just Bluetooth.
Yeah. But I don't know if like. Yeah. I mean, since the whole circuit board is around, whoever was designing it might have just like turned off locking.
All right. You want to look at the rest of the parts on this board?
Yeah, sure.
That round hole is where the needle comes out. Right. So that plastic bit fits into this hole in the circuit board. And I could only find one chip on the outside of the board here, but on the scan, I'm seeing like that little attachment point to the lower right of the chip looks kind of like a BGA on the scan, but it's obviously just test points, or is it something on the other side of the board?
To me, that looks like an unpopulated component.
Yeah, right. And then this one.
Yeah, I mean that's where the BGA would go.
Right, but there isn't something there.
There's nothing, yeah.
So this part really only has this one chip, and like, look how suspiciously blank the top of it is.
Yeah, no, there's nothing on it.
Sometimes I just can't see the writing on the chip because of the angle. So I tried like all different lighting angles. I'm like, there has to be a label on this chip. There's no label on this chip.
Interesting.
And I think that means it's like proprietary Abbott only.
Like an ASIC or something?
Chip.
Yeah.
What's an ASIC? Isn't that a brand?
ASIC, that's a brand of shoes.
Oh.
But ASIC is like a custom chip basically.
Mm. The other thing I found interesting, maybe we can look at the Dexcom one now and we can start to compare them. But I noticed that this one is made of these like pretty discrete plastic pieces that snap together, the exterior shell, the plastic shell that holds the needle, and the circuit board, and they all come apart once you split it open.
Right.
And the Dexcom device, that's not the case at all. It's definitely has plastic molded around it when it's being put together. And it was a pain to get the plastic off. And yeah, it's like this big plastic unit that is glued in place while...
Oh, they really don't want this coming apart.
Well, I think it's how they make it, right? Like because this is like this soft rubbery stuff. It's not a hard plastic, so maybe they think it's more comfortable on your skin, and maybe it's cheaper to squish it into the mold instead of trying to snap the pieces from the outside. But the plastic's softer, so maybe that's
Yeah, it could be, but look, it's all like up inside the battery holder and everything.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I guess if it's only single use, you don't have to take it apart.
But there's a lot more chips on here. We identified. I was able to identify some of them. Yeah. The main one, that DCG7 chip, is obviously the proprietary one. That one right there, that says DCG7, right. Dexcom G7. Yeah. And understandably,
it's also potted in epoxy, too.
I couldn't find anything on that chip.
Epoxy filling it in, yeah.
So I think that's the equivalent of the Abbott chip with no label. But separately, we have this NRF52.
Classic. We see these in like every single thing that we take apart.
Everybody loves this. Can you move over to the shiny, the shiny chip? Everybody loves these NRF.
It's also cool.
That's my hot stock tip.
This one's like shiny, yeah.
My hot stock tip is
I haven't
Nordic Semiconductor, folks. We see them in every single thing that we take apart.
I haven't seen it in the shiny package before.
All right, well, there it is. Dressed to impress. On the inside of this single-use medical device.
It looks good, yeah.
So that's the Bluetooth radio.
It's Bluetooth and probably microcontroller. I mean, the thing that's cool about those is they're like a monolithic system.
It's also NFC.
Yeah, they've got everything. It's got a Cortex ARM processor in it. It's got Bluetooth. I guess it's got NFC.
These, the Abbott one at least, you pair it to your phone by holding your phone close to it. So I can't remember the Dexcom if you do the same thing, but the NFC can be used for that. Mm-hmm. So they don't need to put like a separate NFC chip inside it or tag. They could just use the chip to emulate an NFC tag. All right. Otherwise, we have this guy, CMOS voltage regulator, P4R. It's the tiny one.
This little guy up on the corner here, up there. Mm-hmm. This is a little linear regulator.
Ultra low current consumption, high ripple rejection, and low dropout CMOS voltage regulator. I don't have my keyboard, I just can't open this link. But those are basically the three chips that I could find on this board, which was better than the Abbott one where I couldn't identify any of them.
Right.
And then I thought maybe that this T320 thing was a crystal oscillator because it's next to.
Yeah. And it's in that little can, like they're all in little cans.
They're all in little cans, and it's next to the Nordic chip.
Yeah, and you can see where the antenna jumps off over there.
That's the Bluetooth antenna.
Yeah, well, part of it. Becky smashed. Yeah.
Well, like I said, this thing was laminated in the rubber plastic. Yeah, so it was hard to take it apart.
You can see the little matching network that couples into the antenna. Cool.
You want to look at it on the scan?
Yeah, let's look at it on the scan. This little battery's fun too.
Yeah, it looks like it has a bigger battery than the Abbott one, but the sensor lasts only 10 days instead of 14. I don't know if it can have to do with their testing also about how the sensor accuracy drops off over time. It's not just about the battery life.
It can also have to do with the efficiency of their sensing also. Like when you're doing really low power electronics, like there's so much work that gets put into like optimizing every single instruction of every single program. Yeah. Because like if it's going to be running for a long time, you can really make a big difference in the life of the device.
Right. So I'm saying that like I think that it's a two-factor. There's more. The other factor that normally isn't at play is like the clinical trials and stuff that they had to do to see how accurate, because they would test them against finger sticks for accuracy. So I can imagine there's like a compromise there with like how bad they could make the battery life last longer, but maybe the sensor accuracy drops off because of the physicality of the needle, or there's lots of other things that I don't know. Here's the Dexcom on the scan. You can very clearly see that Bluetooth antenna. Yep. And you can see the BGA for our that's the Nordic chip.
Yeah, it's probably the Nordic chip.
And the QFN is their proprietary chip that has the epoxy potting around it.
It is?
I'm guessing. What's this?
Bigger. That looks like something that was like stuck on and has a bunch of air bubbles in it.
But also it's metal, right?
Oh.
Because it's orange. And it's underneath.
It's under the
battery.
Under
the battery. Oh, so maybe.
Yeah, but there's like all this stuff in here.
I know, but
it's metal. Yeah.
I'm saying that this this stuff would be all around, but this is like interesting shape underneath the battery.
So we're looking at it this way. So it would be
between the battery and the circuit board.
Can I further?
Yeah. Oh, those are no, those are only pointing. The pointing tweezers must remain pristine. They're for pointing only. All right. Well, maybe epilogue. We'll get in there and see what that funny little piece of metal is.
Maybe. Cool. Oh, and then you see the needle come down and around, and the needle used to attach into. Yeah,
and the needle on this one is folded because I mailed it to them.
Yeah.
Look at these nice scans that they made for us. I wonder if they're just sick of watching us screw up using their software, and they're like, we need to make sure to make Becky good bookmarks.
Yeah. Okay, so it used to mount here.
What used to mount there?
The needle. I think it used to mount there and there, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Is that true?
I mean, I think it looks like it's soldered on.
It's like on the opposite side of the antenna.
Yeah, that's where it is. Yep. That's where it was.
Oh, is it like mounted inside the board?
I think maybe, yeah.
Can we go back to Microscope?
Yeah.
So here's needle. That's the needle, right? Right there. And then if I flip it, it's kind of going in the middle. So it's going like in there.
Show me the other side again. The scan doesn't support it. Yeah, I see. It's in the plastic, and then I think these are where the blobs of solder.
Yeah, maybe these are the mount points. Yeah.
These are the mount points. Sorry, I'm stabbing you. Here and here are the mount points.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it is on the outside of the board.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that because of this scan.
Yeah, it's just totally covered in like glue and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't know, this one looks more like what I would expect the inside of this thing to look like. I wasn't surprised by this at all, really. I find like one proprietary chip, one Nordic chip, and then a couple other things I could identify.
Random.
But this one really threw me for a loop with its unpopulated BGA.
And this little dude.
And the weird little piece of metal, and then the one chip that must be doing everything.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be doing the NFC, the Bluetooth, the microcontrolling, the sensing. It's everything in that one chip.
Yeah, I mean, if it's their own ASIC, it could do that, because when you're, I don't know if this is what they're doing, but there are pre-rolled designs for here's an ARM core and here's different components, and you can pre-roll those into making your own chip. But it's very expensive.
Yeah, but this is worth for how many units that they sell.
Yeah, sometimes people
cost
do
is
weird
no
stuff
option, right?
Yeah.
For doing the research phase of this project, if you could make the cost per unit that much lower once you finally go to market. And this is the Freestyle Libre 3. So this is the third version of this particular product line.
Yeah.
In previous versions of the sensor, you'd have to bring the phone close to it to actually update the reading. So it would use the NFC. It would only only broadcast the reading when you were activating the NFC, which I think saves the battery life. Smokey's mom and dad, they had that type.
Yeah.
But this one updates continuously to the app for as long as the battery lasts. Or as long as the sensor, the app will tell you when the sensor's expiring.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it's the strength of a radio signal falls off exponentially as you get farther away. So you have to have way more power if you want to read it farther away. So if you want to save power, it probably.
Yeah, and it'll tell you oh, your device is too far away or it'll tell you when it stops syncing. But lucky for them, you happen to have your phone close by you all the time for a biomedical device.
Yes.
When can we have the devices that we put inside our inside?
The pills?
Can we get injection of a CGM?
Probably.
Soon?
I'm sure. We can talk to our friends at Abbott and Dexcom.
It's an emerging space, right? I think Abbott is a company that does a lot of other medical devices, and Dexcom only does this. If I have that right. I could have it backwards, but no, that makes sense because Abbott, Freestyle, Libre, Abbott does other things.
Right.
Dexcom is only, they don't have a sub-brand. So I think that's right. Dexcom only does CGMs, and Abbott does a lot of medical devices, including CGMs. So I've watched some really interesting, Business Insider or CNBC news YouTube videos about interviews with these company execs and stuff, and it's a really interesting space. Not going anywhere anytime soon.
Cool.
Thanks to LumaField for the scans.
Thanks
These are cool
LumaField.
because they have, I sent them both the not deployed one and the deployed one, so you can...
Just never get tired of looking at springs on this.
Yeah, right. I never get tired of looking at the x-rays that I can like...
Simple man with simple needs.
That I can spin around. The colorful x-rays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's what the Dexcom one looks like when it's deployed. I mean, who knows? Maybe I could harvest the springs and use them for some robots.
Yeah. Stabbing robots.
Okay, well we did
cool.
kind of an interleaved approach this time between the microscope and the scans. And the scans will be available in the article. LumaField publishes them whenever we do one of these teardowns, so people can take a look at them themselves.
Synergy. Yeah,
Thanks so
good.
much, David.
Thanks, Becky.
See you next time. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. I hope you'll subscribe with the bell to be notified of my future uploads, subscribe to my email newsletter, and find me on your favorite social media platform. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. This video was made with support from my sponsors and generous donations from viewers like you through Patreon and YouTube memberships.